smells like whiskey. Yes. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we are, well, Île de Montréal. Nous sommes en Canada. This is the XR of the Crown Royal. XR stands for extra rare, and well, whenever I have such a impressive box, I open it here in front of the camera, and I know what's in there, and you can guess what's in there. There is a well, a satin sack in it, and in that a carafe, the typical or one extraordinary carafe of Crown Royal. And here on the box it says, handcrafted with the final batch of rare whiskies from the LaSalle distillery. LaSalle distillery? Well, in former times, the Crown Royal was produced in Montreal, on the Île de Montréal, and well, today they moved, or in the past they moved the distillery to Winnipeg, Lake Winnipeg, on the west shore, in the southern west shore of Lake Winnipeg, some 1,000 miles away, in the Gimli plant where they produce all the Crown Royal whiskey. And here we have the final batch of this LaSalle distillery. And I looked the bottle up in the internet, and on the homepage of Crown Royal they say one of the final batches. Now, is it the final batch or one of the final batches? I have no idea. And on the back, they're telling us it takes passion and perseverance to create the finest whiskey ever made. Well, this is so different to what I learned, to respect other work and not to tell I'm the best. The finest whiskey ever made. I proudly introduce the newest Crown Royal XR, the pinnacle of Crown Royal craftsmanship. The name stands for extra rare, representing what makes this product so special. Crown Royal XR is an exquisite blend crafted with a small reserve of the final batch of whiskies. Well, first it's the final batch, then one of the final batches, and now with a small reserve of the final batch of whiskies. It's getting less and less of the LaSalle whiskey in this bottle. How much is a small reserve? 2 drops? 1 cask on 100? No idea. That were saved from the renowned LaSalle distillery before it closed. Located on the island of Montreal, the LaSalle distillery produced whiskies with a unique richness attributed to the fine water surrounding the island. It's a major town on that island. It's like Manhattan. It's the water on the East River in the Hudson. The finest water surrounding the island. Yeah, you have to go to the back of the country. The resulting taste is full-bodied and exceptionally smooth. For me, LaSalle is also part of a personal legacy. It's where I became an apprentice to the master blender, learning the craft of blending the world's finest whiskey. You have my gratitude for giving me the opportunity to blend this special whiskey. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Andrew McKay. So he learned as a Scotsman, McKay, in the French part of Canada, the art of making whiskey. Yeah. And around this box there's also some protecting paper, well, cardbox paper. And here we have this satin-like golden in it, and the blue, the royal blue bag, and in it's the typical carafe of Crown Royal, and this is the royal blue, which stands for Crown Royal. I like these bottles without the thick and heavy labels where the label dominates the whiskey, and here the whiskey dominates the bottle. But unfortunately, this one I think is colored. I haven't heard something different. So it's 40% ABV, and there's a glass cork on top. But there's a rubber seal or some soft plastic sealing it, because glass on glass wouldn't be tight. So you have to grind the fitting that this will fit, and this would be too expensive, even when the bottle costs around 120. So it's not that easy, or it's not that cheap to buy this bottle. It might be cheaper on the American continent. Put it here so you can see the wonderful color of this whiskey shining through. The last two Crown Royals had been, one was maple flavored and the other was so vanilla. It was like caramel, vanilla, like toffee. Quite strange. And this one smells like whiskey. Yes, definitely. Dried fruit, a little honey note. Some spiciness already showing up, and a typical Canadian whiskey consists out of grain whiskey mixed together with a heavy, spicy rye whiskey. It's bitter, this extremely intense rye whiskey. And so you use 10, 15, 20% of rye whiskey and mix it up with a grain whiskey, and resulting is a spicy or a slightly spicy whiskey, like you're blending a malt whiskey together with a grain whiskey in Scotland. So this is rich and complex, but still not heavy, it's lighter. It's pleasant to the nose, not complicated. Some vanilla showing through, of course. This is the typical style of Crown Royal, some vanilla and a little caramel, so the fresh casks coming through. But this is definitely no flavored and no cognac cask finished. In the beginning, a little weak, a little watery, not enough ABV, but then the rye kicks in, the spiciness coming up, going over, lightly peppery in the aftertaste in front of my tongue, and sugar notes shining through, and the bitterness of the rye moving forward to a cocoa taste. Yeah, some sultanas, long and warm aftertaste. Very complex, very intense, really a good one. But be careful. If you like Scotch whiskey or bourbon very much, this one is really different. It's a special kind of whiskey. It's Canadian style. That means you have rye whiskey combined with grain whiskey. And this leads to different flavors as the Scots or the Kentucky or Tennessee distillers produce. Definitely one of the better ones from Canada, really. Hopefully this one is less expensive in the US and Canada itself, because it's so expensive here in Europe. And we only get a very few bottles of those, so it's quite difficult to get them here. And if those final batches, or the final batch, or a small amount of the final batch is gone, probably this whiskey will be gone too. So if you like that whiskey, you should head for it. Yeah, real soon now. Quite fast. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned and feel free to share this video.